American retail is getting a little fed up with the shoplifting. It's really wild that just about everybody on the planet knew knew that self-checkout was going to be a disaster. Everybody on the planet knew that self-checkout was going to be ripe for shoplifting and gaming the system and skip scanning. And I never really understood how it saved money because ultimately you had to pay. I don't know if you've ever looked at it, but they usually have at least one person sitting there watching everybody check out anyway. And they have to constantly be helping them when stuff doesn't work and whatever. Like they really didn't save any money with it, but we all knew what was going to happen in like Democrat cities, right? And now the usual grifters and like race hustlers are finally, they're all up in arms because now Walmart and Target have said, we're not going to do self-checkout anymore because too many people steal from us. What did you think was going to happen? Anytime, I guarantee this isn't a problem in the suburbs. In like Walmarts and Targets in the suburbs, I'm sure it's some people steal in general. I mean, I worked at Walmart and I saw all walks of life stealing. All walks of lives. Men, women, black, white, kids, elderly people steal probably the most. Batteries, hearing aid batteries. I caught more elderly people stealing than probably any other group of people. The self-checkout thing was particularly ripe to be abused. And now Target has made the DEI folks really, really mad. I never use self-checkout on principle. If I have to check my own stuff out, you better give me a discount. It should be 10. You should give, if they gave me 10% off for using self-checkout, then I would do it. I'm not doing your job for you. The same thing with restaurants. Like sometimes I go to restaurants like a buffet and like waitresses come around and all they do is bring you your soda and they expect a tip. I'm like, just give me a cup then. What am I tipping you for? Just keep my soda full. Just give me the cup and I'll fill it myself. I'm already going up and getting my own food. You know? So Target stuns shoppers by ripping out self-checkouts, but not because they care about customer service. Well, no kidding. Everybody knows why they're taking everybody knows why they're taking out the self-checkouts. Target is quietly pulling self-checkout stations from more stores as backlash grows and concerns mount over, guess what? Theft. You know what else is a steal? Picking up my Mother's Day gift box for $10 off right now, or 10% off on Amazon. Mother's Day's next weekend. Or just consider it a regular old gift box with chocolate-covered espresso beans, honey sticks, yogurt pretzels, our ground blueberry cobbler, and our Colombian roast. Absolutely delicious and an amazing way to support the channel. Just last March, America's 6th largest by sales committed to installing self-checkouts in all 2,000 United States locations. But since then, Target has walked back that plan through a series of quiet U-turns. You know why they're quiet? You know why they're quiet is because they know the usual suspects are going to call this racist. While the companies decline to comment, shoppers and employees are reporting kiosks being removed, the item limits being imposed, and self-checkout lanes frequently left closed. All signs point to the chain is rethinking its approach amid a spike in theft. I mean, if you look, I live in the middle of, suburbia. And theft is a thing here, and it's usually the usual suspects who come up to Menominee Falls from Milwaukee, who will like fill a cart full of stuff and walk right out of a store. The funniest thing about the retail theft thing, I worked retail my whole life. We call it shrink, right? Most shrink used to be done by employees. But the reason you have so much theft right now is one, stores refusing to prosecute it. Stores are refusing to prosecute, so people just steal from them anyway. Cops show up, You give your stuff back, and then they let you go. So why wouldn't more people try to steal? If there's no real penalty, why wouldn't you risk it? District attorneys are refusing to charge people on top of that. Even when stores want people prosecuted, woke district attorneys are not pressing charges on these people. Thirdly, even if they do get charged, they aren't doing any time in jail. Because if you look at some of the laws, like in California, does anybody actually wonder why so many people steal in California when they literally have a law that says if you steal anything under, what is it, $900? I forget the exact amount. If you steal anything under $900, it's just a misdemeanor. Is it any wonder that people have figured that out and are stealing $899 worth of stuff constantly from places? I'm sure they're not locking up sunscreen. But if you look at some of these stores, some of these Walgreens, they're just closing down because the retail theft has gotten so bad. They have like these roving gangs of people that just walk into the store, fill their arms with stuff, and just walk right out. This is a rod of their own making. This is the business's own problem. They got lazy with the self-checkouts. They got woke because they didn't want to prosecute shoplifters. And if you're any one of these stores in any major city, you're going to have about 99% of your shoplifters be a certain demographic. Again, I'm saying that because I worked at Walmart and I worked at Best Buy and I worked at Menards. Menards, it was the Mexicans. The Mexicans were always stealing stuff, constantly. I would catch one or two every single day at my checkout. I was a cashier at Menards because they pay Menards cashiers when I was in college. I was like 20 years old. I think I made because I worked weekends, I made like $10.50 or $11 an hour, which was really good money for back then. But really what you are is you're not a cashier. You are a loss prevention agent. And there would be so many times people would bring up a rolled up rug that I would find, diamond saw blades in the rug, screwdrivers, drill bits, all sorts of stuff. I'm like, oh, did you want this? Yeah, I guess I'll just take it. That was always the funniest. 9 times out of 10, they would still take it. That was the funniest thing. It's like, oh, what a coincidence. Some random customer came by and put the exact tool you needed in that rug that you bought that was on clearance. What a coincidence. A complete stranger just went and did your shopping for you and happened to just put it in this rug that you picked up? What a coincidence. When I worked at Walmart, it was elderly people who were stealing by far and away. And young girls stealing makeup. Young girls stole makeup. Elderly people stole batteries, hearing aid stuff like that. If you go into Milwaukee, you're going to basically have one group of people who are stealing. So that's why these stories, these stores are like, wow, we're not going to prosecute because we're just going to put too many people in jail. Well, now, on top of not prosecuting, you have a bunch of people who are like, why would I pay? And then you put these self-checkout things, so you could just be like, boop. You could put two things together, scan one. It'd be incredibly easy to shoplift. It's incredibly easy to shoplift from self-checkout. Give me a 10% off discount, I'll use it, but that's the funny thing, sorry about that aside, but the funny thing about this story is just how they're lying about it. The problem with Target is a lot of decisions can be taken centrally without proper thought and what they mean on the ground. The other Target stores have axed self-checkouts. Last May, they were closed at the Target in Emeryville, California. The move was to combat shoplifting. Gee, I wonder why. In recent years, Target has complained of high levels of theft, even cited as a reason for closing stores. Target closed entire stores because they couldn't get the shoplifting under control. Does anyone want to bet me what kind of cities they were in? Does anybody want to wager a bet on what kind of cities, who is running those cities? Anybody out there want to make a wager on what these people, who runs these cities? Experts say many retailers are now scaling back self-checkout because the machines are especially vulnerable to theft, a growing problem that has forced some stores to close altogether. Well, when I lived in my little suburban town, when we had a super Walmart there, they still have self-checkouts. It was never a problem there. Never a problem where I lived. The Reddit thread in the latest closure prompted a barrage of replies. Employees saying shoppers are saying more stores are scaling back or scrapping the kiosk entirely. Our self-checkout has been closed for months. One commenter wrote, "It seems like theft from our stores gone way down because there's always armed security you have to get past at the door." I mean, this is the world that the Democrats want you to live. Self-checkout U-turns. Dollar General, 300 stores removing self-checkouts entirely. Again, where do you think those 300 stores are? 9,000 stores, some converted them to manned. 4,500 stores have now limited it to just 5 items. Because if you have a bunch of them, it's really easy to steal. Costco's adding more staff to the self-checkout areas. Wonder why? Kroger added traditional lines to the store where it had been offering exclusively self-checkouts. Kroger, Costco, Target, Dollar General, Walmart, all getting rid of self-checkout. Why? Because liberal-run cities don't prosecute shoplifting. I mean, remember this story? I mean, they're locking up the freaking meat, boys. They're locking up the meat. They're locking up the meat. Some people say that cashiers steal. No, they don't. It's almost impossible to steal as a cashier because your drawer has to balance and there's people watching that kind of thing. Cashiers probably steal the least as a side note. I worked in retail most of my whole life. Never had a cashier get caught for stealing, because they just don't. We're putting chains around steaks for crying out loud. Adding quote unquote chastity belts to self-checkouts. Why do you think that is? It's because woke politicians made it this way. And of course, the normal people are really upset about it. Can't say, I didn't see this coming. Maybe start enforcing the laws. Just my thought.